I love card games. Indie card games, mainstream card games, dead card games, they're my life fuel. Running a chaotic channel, you don't really get to see how many I play, but being a former Illustrious professional, I genuinely love playing them and making content on them. But my biggest fascination as of lately is TCG Development. I'm currently a lead developer on 3 different TCGs, and it's led me to have such a greater respect for developers and testers for a game. So you can imagine how I felt when reading up on Dragon X statements for the Dragon X Part 2 video, just how intrigued I was by things he discussed about development and testing. It led me to wondering what happened with the other testers and developers credited by Chaotic, and while I ended up scrapping that video, 2 of the developers had just announced a brand new TCG. Not only that, but those 2 developers were also a major part of To Be Continued LLC, a consulting firm for Chaotic's development. Both developers, after leaving Chaotic, continued to stay in the TCG scene and world, one of which even developed the MTG set where one of my favorite Planeswalkers ever came from. So let's take a look at that kind of TCG that they developed after nearly 3 decades worth of experience and see if there's anything we can learn. To start off, let's take a look at the packaging for the demo set and then move on to the cards themselves and gameplay. We are going to be opening this from the get-go. I'm super excited for this. I know what the cards look like. I know what the cards look like. I know what the actual thing looks like. You guys have already heard what it is because I made sure to include an intro. So I'm super excited for that. Let's go ahead and crack this bad boy open. Yeah, no, it was really interesting, right? Because I was doing research into the into the follow-up video for the Dragon X Says, the Dragon X Spoke series, and I was doing. Ooh, okay, that has. I didn't think about that. I blurred it. I threw something up. I threw something up. Yeah, I was doing a follow-up series. I was doing research into it, and I was like, "Oh, I wonder where the other, where the other developers ended up at." And literally, a week before, the week before Brian David Marshall and the other, I'm gonna kick myself because I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I have Discord open right next to me, and I can cheat. I love cheating. I hate cheating. That was a. Oh my God, this didn't help. Why? Wait. Why is it just Brian David Marshall? Oh my God, I don't remember his name. I only see Brian David Marshall. Oh, I feel horrible. There's one more. Oh my God. And he's the other guy. The other guy. The worst part is the other guy is actually the guy that super got me interested. Because he designed Kaldheim, and Kaldheim is one of my favorite flavor MTG sets. So I was like, oh yeah, oh my God. Oh no, I can't find it. I can't remember his name. I'm so mad at myself for this. Oh my God. Oh well, whatever. I'll move on. I'll move on. I couldn't find the name. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. I'm such a horrible person. But anyways, and I saw the 2 of the original Chaotic developers were working on one card game, and I was like, oh, that is insane. Also, really funny, they are also part of To Be Continued LLC, which went defunct in 2014. And I was like, oh, so this is basically a revival of To Be Continued. I was like, that's so cool. But yeah, so I was doing research, and I saw they were making their own card game, and I really want to, and I saw that they had their promotional material that was available through a con for sale. Yeah, I guess people weren't. It is so hard for indie developers to get their card names out there. I love trying out indie games. Partners of the channel, Wild Hearts, can obviously tell that I used to be a former Illustrious professional. And I mean, I've tried out Paragon, which is Vintoon. He's our Chaotic developer game friend. I tried out his card game, and I'm super excited to be checking this one out. I'm probably gonna get some webcam games in before I get to the review part of the gameplay. Hopefully I can get people to consent to recording. I'd like consent to recording. Otherwise, my brother and I are going to be playtesting it in 2 weeks from me recording this opening. But I would like to have this video out before then. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look. Okay. That's one of them. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what we have here. And oh my God. Dude, okay, so I'm a little too young to remember cassettes. CDs, 100% would have gotten, but I'm a little too young to actually fully remember cassettes. But I remember seeing them around my grandmother's house, and these, or it's, oh my god, wait, it's actually like a cassette. That actually looks like a cassette. I don't know if the camera is picking that up. That actually looks like a cassette. That's actually really cool. It even feels like a cassette case. So this is sick. This is actually, I love this. This is actually really cool and thematic. I love this so much. Like, look at this. It's that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I love when card games do thematic products, and like I gotta say, this is extremely sick. It even has a little holder too. Oh, I thought that was like printed onto it. This is like actually okay. I gotta put this back exactly how I got it so my brother can experience that, because that was so cool. That was so cool. Oh, the back of the cards look like cassettes. Oh, that's actually really sick. I love the card arts that they have. I love the card arts of the cards. I like that they're full arts. The one thing I always hate about full arts, though, is it always makes the card text extremely hard to read. I'm going to give my honest critiques of the game. It always makes card text really hard to read from a further distance away, and I have eye issues. Like, I have trouble seeing. So, reading cards from further or far away is always difficult on full art cards. It's just a pain to do with full art cards. So, like, I cannot read these cards the way, like, right here. I can't read these cards. And I'm not super far away from the cards either. Like, I'm like probably like maybe a foot and a half away, like in terms of like my head to the cards. Just because there's no white background, it just blends into the background. So, that kind of sucks overall. That kind of sucks. But at the same time, like, you know, whatever. Like, I can easily pick up the card or ask to read the card, so I'm not too bothered by that. But the card art itself is super sick. I'm not gonna crack these open. Actually, okay, yeah, I'm gonna crack them open. Dude, I've been obsessed with cracking packs lately. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've opened, as of recording this video, I've opened maybe like 30 packs of Outlaws of Thunder Junction in like the last 3 days. So I have been obsessed with cracking packs, and this isn't even a pack. This is like predetermined. Every card in here is going to be the, you know, like exact, like guaranteed cards. I cannot get this open. So, I want to cut the video. No, I'm not going to cut the video. You guys are going to watch me struggle. I'm going to try to finish this, as quickly as possible. But it is, like, they are, oh, that looks sick. Okay, it looks sick. Okay. Yeah, that's just a 1-2. That's like a 1-2. I'm pretty sure it's power and toughness. No, it's the attack cost and the attack. Okay. Currently, I haven't actually learned how to play the game yet. So, we are learning at the same time what these cards... Ooh. Dude, these cards look insanely cool. Like, they have the retro kind of art. I love that. I normally am not much of an art person, but I do love the retro style of art. It kind of like reminds me a bit about Powerline Ultra. No, I wouldn't even say Powerline Ultra. But like, I wouldn't even say Powerline Ultra has that kind of, like, because Powerline Ultra is more comic book. This definitely feels like retro comic book. This feels like I like walked into an old Batman comic. So I thoroughly enjoy this. Like, this, like, I mean, actually, would you say Batman? I would say this feels like an old DC comic book. Like, when I look at these cards, I'm like thinking of, like, it makes me feel like I'm like stepped into an old DC comic book. So this is really, really insanely cool art. Like, this is actually really cool. I do like, see, this is what I mean. Like, whenever I talk about like full art cards, like have like, you know, I have difficulty reading full art cards. I like it when full art cards, or not full art cards necessarily, but whenever cards have like a border on the back, just so the text pops. Because this says, when free vector dies, draw a card, right? I can read that, versus with the other cards, like, that doesn't have card text. I like how I like chose the one card where I like passed by, but like, check this out. Like, I can read that too, but it's also white on black background. You know what? Whatever. We're just gonna act like I didn't say anything, okay? Because I'd have to go back all the way to the hero. But yeah, no, these cards are insanely sick. I am going to hold off on cracking the others, and I'll crack the others. I'll crack the others throughout the video without a voiceover, as I'm talking more about the cards individually. But I did want to give my first impressions of, like, you know, how I felt about, like, looking at the cards, how I felt opening the stuff. Because I mean, like, take a look right here, right? Like, these things, the cassette, this is extremely thematic for the game, and they look insanely amazing. Like, this is something that I could, like, actually see myself, like, putting on a shelf and displaying it. A lot of, like, promotional items, like, I kind of, like, I'm like, whatever, right? But, like, this is, like, one of those things where it's like, this is like the Pokeball tins for Pokemon, or like the Devil Fruit tins for One Piece. I love the thematic where it actually feels like it's meant to be displayed versus like a booster box, which is not meant to be displayed. Which I mean, not meant to be, whatever. They're meant to be displayed, but not really. You know, like, I mean, like, I'm not gonna have like a shelf full of booster box, like, you know, open booster boxes. Whereas this, I could definitely see myself, like, even with having them no cards in there, I could see myself putting this on to a shelf and as a showcase item for a icebreaker. So really interesting design. I love seeing this. That being said, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the gameplay now. The cards themselves are designed fairly basically, with a lot of emphasis on the art. Bosses are your leader cards, so you start with them on the board and what are attacked. Each boss has their own unique starting life total, so make sure to choose carefully, because when your boss's health reaches 0, you lose the game. Each boss and fighter also share an attack cost and an attack stat. To attack, you'll pay tokens equal to your cost, and then use your attack stat to determine damage that is removed from the opposing fighter or boss's health. Finally is a text box. Each boss comes with a unique powerful ability that helps you sway the tempo of the game. Some may cost tokens, some may require you to tap, some may require both. But these effects will shape how your deck is built, so read them well. Next is fighters. They share many traits with bosses, but with one key difference: their levels. A fighter's level determines when you can play a character. While most games would require you to pay a cost to play a monster, Cataclysm Arcade allows you to just dump your hand onto the board as long as you meet the level requirements, something we'll get into in the gameplay portion of the video. The level system has already led to my personal love of the boss win, which benefits from having many level 1 fighters in your deck. The next card types are Tactic and Response cards. These cards function relatively the same, with one key exception. Tactic cards can only be played on your turn, similar to a sorcery spell in Magic, and Response cards can only be activated in response to an opponent's action. These cards have no level requirement, however they do have token costs associated with them, so they aren't entirely free. These cards will help you control the tempo of the game and allow you to control the board a bit in those early game stages. The final card type is Weapons. These equip onto a fighter for free when played, but never onto a boss. When the fighter dies, they remain on the board and can be re-equipped to a new fighter, similar to Magic, by paying a cost. Weapons provide attack modifiers and other beneficial effects. Since weapons only have a level requirement and no initial cost, ensure you use these at the optimal time to make for a massive tempo swing. On to the gameplay portion. Unfortunately, we tested the game at our LGS and weren't able to actually record any footage, and getting games in is kind of difficult since currently the only way to play the game is with a demo deck handed out at events or bought through the link that I'll attach in the description. So I'll just have to simulate a turn in editing. I'm sorry for that, future me. So to start off, each player draws their initial hand of 4, decides whether they want to keep those cards, and if a player chooses they would like new cards, they can discard however many cards they don't want, then draw the same amount of cards. Afterwards, you'll shuffle the discarded cards into the deck and the game will begin. At the start of the turn, each player gains a level, tokens equal to their level, and draws a card. Neither player draws a card at level 1 though. Next, each player will take turns taking an action until both players have passed for that level. Once a player has passed, they can take no more actions for the rest of the level regardless of what the other player does. This, however, does not prevent you from playing any responses. Actions consist of playing a card, attacking, activating an ability, or equipping a weapon. Keep in mind that creatures can attack on the first turn they are played as long as you pay the attack cost. When an attack is declared, players get the chance to activate a response. If no response is played, damage is dealt to the attacked fighter or boss. Damage is tracked in between turns, and when a fighter's health reaches 0, it dies, and when a boss's health reaches 0, that player loses the game. Once both players have passed, the level is over and players lose all their unused tokens, so ensure you use them the turn you have them to make the most of your action economy. Afterwards, we refer back to the start of game procedures and gain a level, tokens equal to our next level, and draw a card. This pattern continues until a player's boss reaches 0 health. Something interesting to note, there is no deck out rule. If you are unable to draw a card, your discard pile is shuffled back into your deck and you draw a card from there. The game was honestly a lot of fun. We did have some issues with Sky just being the best deck of the lot, able to ignore attack costs and get bodies if it ever got low. Almost all our games were rather close outside of the fact, and we didn't really struggle to rebuild boards after having them cleared. Not only that, but larger fighters never really felt oppressive. While they did require more resources to clear out, the longer a game ran, the less impact it felt like they had. The game overall seems really fun and a great gateway into TCGs, or a fun game to help hone threat analysis and resource management for already established TCG players. Some major takeaways I got from the game is that it seems like a lot of TCGs as of lately are trying to do a more back and forth kind of gameplay. It feels like it really originated from Star Wars Unlimited and is being adapted by these smaller indie games with industry veterans for a reason. Another thing I took from this game is just how important it is to be able to rebuild a board after an oppressive turn. A major issue we're running into one of the games I'm working on is we have one archetype that can clear a board once and stay extremely oppressive for it, regardless of the board presence you can create after. Cataclysm Arcade is able to avoid that by allowing creatures to attack the turn they're played, allowing you to remove problematic bodies, allowing weapons to auto-equip to creatures, which gives stat increases, allowing them to increase tempo swings, and having enough consistency effects to steadily see bodies. It gives me a lot of ideas for how to balance our mechanics in our game, and that's something I love about trying out new TCGs, the amount you can learn as both a player and a tester. I'm really looking forward to following Cataclysm Arcade's development, and if you are too, check out the Discord linked in the description and maybe pick up the demo deck so I can have someone to play against. They'll be running their Kickstarter for their first set early this year, and will be releasing their official website with the card database shortly. I highly recommend getting in on the ground floor because with a game made by this team, you're going to want to get a head start to ensure that you've mastered all the mechanics before events even start.